continuing and probably concluding The Mysterious Stranger by Mark Twain. And so at last, being persuaded to go home, he marched in imposing state, and when the crowds along the way saw how it gratified him to be hurrahed at, they humored him to the top of his desire. And he responded with condescending bows and gracious smiles, and often stretched out a hand and said, "Bless you, my people," as pitiful a sight as I ever saw, and Margaret and old Ursula crying all the way. On my road home, I came upon Satan, and reproached him with deceiving me that lie. He was not embarrassed, but said quite simply and composedly, "Ah, you mistake. It was the truth. I said he would be happy the rest of his days, and he will, for he will always think he is the emperor." You know, that solitary confinement and stuff can drive a person crazy. And his pride in it, and his joy in it, will endure to the end. He is now, and will remain, the one utterly happy person in this empire. But the method of it, Satan, the method, couldn't you have done it without depriving him of his reason? It was difficult to irritate Satan, but that accomplished it. "What a donkey you are," he said. "Are you so unobservant as not to have found out that sanity and happiness are an impossible combination? No sane man can be happy, for to him life is real, and he sees what a fearful thing it is. Only the mad can be happy, and not many of those. The few that imagine themselves kings or gods are happy. The rest are no happier than the sane. Of course, no man is entirely in his right mind at any time, but I have been referring to the extreme cases. I have taken from this man that trumpery thing, which the race regards as a mind. I have replaced his tin life with a silver gilt fiction. You see the result, and you criticize? I said I would make him permanently happy, and I have done it. I have made him happy by the only means possible to his race, and you are not satisfied." He heaved a discouraged sigh and said, "It seems to me that this race is hard to please." There it was, you see. He didn't seem to know any way to do a person a favor, except by killing him or making him a lunatic out of him. I apologized as well as I could, but privately I did not think much of his processes at that time. Satan was accustomed to say that our race had lived a life of continuous and uninterrupted self-deception. It duped itself from cradle to grave with shams and delusions which it mistook for realities, and this made its entire life a sham. Of the score of fine qualities which it imagined it had, and was vain of, it really possessed hardly one. It regarded itself as gold, and was only brass. One day, when he was in this vein, he mentioned a detail, the sense of humor. I cheered up then, and took issue. I said we possessed it. "There spoke the race," he said, "always ready to claim what it hasn't got, and mistake its ounce of brass fillings for a ton of gold dust. You have a mongrel perception of humor, nothing more. A multitude of you possess that. This multitude see the comic side of 1,000 low-grade and trivial things, broad incongruities, namely, grotesqueries, absurdities, evokers of the horse laugh. The 10,000 high-grade comicalities which exist in the high world are sealed from their dull vision. Will a day come when the race will detect the funniness of these juvenilities, and laugh at them, and by laughing at them, destroy them? For your race, in its poverty, has unquestionably one really effective weapon: laughter. Money, power, persuasion, supplication, persecution, these can lift at a colossal humbug, push it a little, weaken it a little, century by century, but only laughter can blow it to rags and atoms at a blast. Against the assault of laughter, nothing can stand. You are always fussing and fighting with your other weapons. Do you ever use that one? No, you leave it lying rusting. As a race, do you ever use it at all? No, you lack sense and the courage. We are traveling at the time and stopped at a little city in India and looked on a while. A juggler did his tricks before a group of natives. They were wonderful, but I knew Satan could beat that game. I begged him to show off a little and said he would. He changed himself into a native in turban and breechcloth and very considerately conferred on me a temporary knowledge of the language. The juggler exhibited a seed, covered it with earth and a small flower pot, then put a rag over the pot. After a minute, the rag began to rise. In 10 minutes, it had risen a foot. And then the rag was removed, and a little tree was exposed with leaves upon it and ripe fruit. We ate fruit, and it was good. But Satan said, "Why do you cover the pot? Can't you grow the tree in the sunlight?" "No," said the juggler. "No one can do that. You are only an apprentice. You don't know your trade. Give me the seed. I will show you." He took the seed and said, "What shall I raise from it?" "It is a cherry seed, of course. You will raise a cherry." "Oh, no, that is a trifle. Any novice can do that." "Shall I raise an orange tree from it?" "Oh, yes." And the juggler laughed. "And shall I make it bear other fruits as well as oranges?" "If God wills." And they all laughed. Satan put the seed into the ground, put a handful of dust on it, and said, "Rise." A tiny stem shot up and began to grow, and grew so fast that in 5 minutes it was a great tree, and we were sitting in the shade of it. There was a murmur of wonder. Then all looked up and saw a strange and pretty sight, for the branches were heavy with fruits of many kinds and colors: oranges, grapes, bananas, peaches, cherries, apricots, and so on. Baskets were brought, and the unladding of the tree began. The people crowded around Satan and kissed his hand and praised him, calling him the Prince of the Jugglers. The news went about the town, and everybody came running to see the wonder. And they remembered to bring baskets too, but the tree was equal to the occasion. It put out new fruits as fast as any were removed. Baskets were filled by the score and by the hundred, but always the supply remained undiminished. At last a foreigner in white linen and sun helmet arrived and exclaimed angrily, "Away from here! Clear out, you dogs! The tree is on my lands and is my property." The natives put down their baskets and made humble obeisance. Satan made humble obeisance too, with his fingers to his forehead, in the native way, and said, "Please let them have their pleasure for an hour, sir. Only that, and no longer. Afterward you may forbid them, and you will still have more fruit than you and the state together can consume in a year." This made the foreigner very angry, and he cried out, "Who are you, you vagabond, to tell your betters what they may do and what they mayn't?" And he struck Satan with his cane and followed this error with a kick. The fruits rotted on the branches, and the leaves withered and fell, and the foreigner gazed at the bare limbs with the look of one who is surprised and not gratified. Satan said, "Take good care of the tree, for its health and yours are bound together. It will never bear again, but if you tend it well, it will live long. Water its roots once in each hour every night, and do it yourself. It must not be done by proxy, and to do it in daylight will not answer. If you fail only once, in any night, the tree will die, and you likewise. Do not go home to your own country any more. You would not reach there. Make no business or pleasure engagements which require you to go outside your gate at night. You cannot afford the risk. Do not rent or sell the place. It would be injudicious." The foreigner was proud and wouldn't beg, but I thought he looked as if he would like to. While he stood gazing at Satan, we vanished away and landed in Ceylon. I was sorry for that man, sorry Satan hadn't been his customary self and killed him or made him a lunatic. It would have been a mercy. Satan overheard the thought and said, "I would have done it, but for his wife, who has not offended me. She is coming to him presently from their native land, Portugal. She is well, but she has not long to live, and has been yearning to see him and persuade him to go back with her next year. She will die without knowing. He can't leave that place. He won't tell her. He will not trust that secret with anyone. He will reflect that it could be revealed in sleep, in the hearing of some Portuguese guest's servant, some time or other. Did none of these natives understand what you said to him? None of them understood, but he will always be afraid that some of them did. That fear will be torture to him, for he has been a harsh master to them. In his dreams, he will imagine them chopping his tree down. That will make his days uncomfortable. I have already arranged for his nights. It grieved me, though not sharply, to see him take such malicious satisfaction in his plans for the foreigner. Does he believe what you told him, Satan? He thought he didn't. But our vanishing helped. The tree, where there had been no tree before, that helped. The insane and uncanny variety of fruits, the sudden withering, all these things are helps. Let him think as he may, reason as he may, one thing is certain, he will water the tree. But between this and night, he will begin his changed career with a very natural precaution for him. What is that? He will fetch a priest to cast out the devil's tree. You are such a humorous race, and don't suspect it. Will he tell the priest? No, he will say a juggler from Bombay created it, and that he wants the juggler's devil driven out of it, so that it will thrive and be fruitful again. The priest's incantations will fail, and then the Portuguese will give up that scheme and get his watering pot ready. But the priest will burn the tree. I know it, and he will not allow it to remain. Yes, and anywhere in Europe he would burn the man too. But in India the people are civilized, and these things will not happen. The man will drive the priest away and take care of the tree. I reflected a little, and then said, Satan, you have given him a hard life, I think. Comparatively, it must not be mistaken for a holiday. We flitted from place to place around the world, as we had done before, Satan showing me 100 workers, most of them reflecting in some way the weakness and triviality of the race. He did this now every few days, not out of malice, I'm sure of that. It only seemed to amuse and interest him, just as a naturalist might be amused and interested by a collection of ants. Chapter 11. For as much as a year, Satan continued these visits, but at last he came less often, and then for a long time he did not come at all. This always made me lonely and melancholy. I felt he was losing interest in our tiny world and might at any time abandon his visits entirely. When one day he finally came to me, I was overjoyed, but only for a little while. He had come to say goodbye, he told me, and for the last time. He had investigations and undertakings in other corners of the universe, he said. That would keep him busy for a longer period than I could wait for his return. And you are going away and will not come back any more. Yes, he said. We have comraded long together, and it has been pleasant for both. But I must go now, and we shall not see each other any more. In this life, Satan, but in another, we shall meet in another, surely. In all tranquility and soberly, he made the strange answer, there is no other. A subtle influence blew upon my spirit from his, bringing with it a vague, dim, but blessed and hopeful feeling that the incredible words might be true, even must be true. Have you never suspected this, Theodore? No. How could I? But if it can only be true, it is true. A gust of thankfulness rose in my breast, but a doubt checked it before it could issue in words. And I said, but we, as we have seen that future life, seen in it, in its actuality, and so, it was a vision, it had no existence. I could hardly breathe for the great hope that was struggling in me. A vision? Life itself is only a vision, a dream. It was electrical, by God. I had that very thought 1,000 times in my musings. Nothing exists. It all is a dream. God, man, the world, the sun, the moon, the wilderness, the stars, a dream, all a dream. They have no existence. Nothing exists save empty space and you. I, and you are not you. You have no body, no blood, no bones. You are but a thought. I myself have no existence. I am but a dream, your dream, creature of your imagination, and in a moment you will have realized this, and then you will banish me from your visions. I shall dissolve into the nothingness out of which you made me. I am perishing already. I and failing, I am passing away. In a little while you will be alone in shoreless space, to wander its limitless solitudes, without friend or comrade, forever. For you will remain a thought, the only existent thought, and by your nature extinguishable, indestructible. But I, your poor servant, have revealed you to yourself and set you free. Dream other dreams and better. Strange that you should not have suspected years ago, centuries, ages, eons ago, for you have existed, companionless through all eternities. Strange indeed that you should not have suspected that your universe and its contents were only dreams, visions, fiction. Strange because they are so frankly and hysterically insane, like all dreams. A God who could make good children as easily as bad, yet preferred to make bad ones, who could have made every one of them happy, yet never made a single one happy, who made them prize their bitter life, yet singly cut it short, who gave his angels eternal happiness unearned, yet required his other children to earn it. Children, of course, being a metaphor. Who gave his angels painless lives, yet cursed his other children with biting miseries and maladies of mind and body, whose mouths justice and invented hell, mouths mercy and invented hell, mouths golden rules and forgiveness multiplied by 70 times 7 and invented hell, who mouths morals to other people and has none himself, who frowns upon crimes yet commits them all, who created man without invitation, then tries to shuffle the responsibility for man's acts upon man, instead of honorably placing it where it belongs, upon itself, and finally, with altogether divine obtuseness, invites the poor, abused slave to worship him. You perceive now that these things are all impossible except in a dream. You perceive that they are pure and puerile insanities, the silly creations of an imagination that is not conscious of its freaks. In a world, they are a dream, and you are the maker of it. The dream marks are all present. You should have recognized them earlier. It is true, that which I have revealed to you. There is no God, no universe, no human race, no earthly life, no heaven, no hell. It is all a dream, a grotesque, foolish dream. Nothing exists but you, and you are but a thought, a vagrant thought, a useless thought, a homeless thought, wandering forlorn among empty eternities. He vanished and left me appalled, for I knew and realized that all he had said was true. And fiction definitely can convey certain satanic doctrines, right? And other art. Well, some things do need explanation in drawings, right?